So you have these goals, but you're not taking action to accomplish those goals. And you're asking yourself, how do I motivate myself to start? I want the results of those goals, but I don't feel like doing the work. If this sounds like you, then definitely stick around because we'll be going over where we should place our focus to motivate ourselves to start taking action to achieve the results that we want. We'll be utilizing the book, The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone, covering chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4 in today's video. I have hand-selected one key quote that stood out to me the most from each chapter. Let's start off with chapter 1. Here we go. Your focus should be on the kind of success that builds upon itself, that which is perpetual and doesn't happen only one time. The 10X rule is based on an understanding how much effort and thought are required to get anything done successfully. Chances are, if you look back over your life, you'll see that you've most likely underestimated the actions and the reasoning to accomplish any one of your goals to the point where it could be labeled as a success. Here's one thing that you absolutely must understand. In order to get to the next level of whatever you're doing right now, you must think and act radically different than you are right now. You cannot get to the next phase of a project or a goal without a grander mindset, more acceleration, and more energy output. Your current thoughts and actions are the reason why you're at where you're at right now. Each and every single goal that you have for yourself right now is incredibly valuable. And each will require a completely different way of conceptualizing and acting upon them in order to create the results of those individual goals. The main focus of the 10X rule, which is that you must set targets that are 10 times greater than you actually want, and then do 10 times the actions you feel it would take to hit those targets. Massive thoughts must be followed with massive actions. And why is this important? Because if you start any task, any goal, with a mind toward limiting the potential outcome, you will 100% limit the actions necessary to accomplish that very task, that very goal. And so what mistakes do people make as they embark on achieving their goals? One is that they miss target by setting objectives that are too low and don't allow for enough motivation. Two, they severely underestimate what it'll take to hit those targets to accomplish those goals in terms of actions, resources, money, and energy. Three, they spend far too much time competing rather than dominating. And four, they underestimate the amount of adversity they will need to overcome to accomplish their goals to hit their targets. And if you're asking yourself, well, why should I have these giant goals? And then follow that up with massive actions. I mean, let's face it, any goal that you set is going to be difficult to achieve. And you will inevitably be disappointed at some point along the way. So why not set these goals much higher than you deem worthy from the very beginning? And if they're already going to require work, effort, energy, persistence, then why not exert 10 times more of what is necessary for each? Ask yourself, what if you're underestimating your capabilities and your potential? And this is not about just accomplishing just one goal, just this one time, but rather what we can persist in creating. And if you're worried about, well, do I need to do this amount of action forever? No, you're most likely not going to have to do this amount of action forever. There will come a time when you'll know, like, okay, I don't need to take as much massive action now as I did in the very beginning. Now I can set a more reasonable pace. Now let's get into chapter 2. Here's the quote that stood out to me the most. When people inadequately measure the actions necessary, they inevitably start to rationalize. When you miscalculate the efforts it takes to make something happen, you become visibly disappointed and discouraged. And of course, these feelings of disappointment and discouragement will often lead to misdiagnosing the problem, which then leads to the negative thinking of, this goal is unattainable, just gonna throw in the towel, it's not worth it. Oftentimes the response is to reduce the target, make it easier. But in fact, the true resolution to the problem is that you should increase your activity levels, increase your actions. The target is never the problem. Any target attacked with the right amount of action and the right level of persistence is totally attainable. Avoid succumbing to the trap of making excuses as to why you can't hit the target. Oh, the market isn't ready, the economy is bad. You know what, this isn't actually what I really want. I want something else. You know what, maybe I'm just not cut out for this. The excuses are endless. But those excuses don't serve you. All they do is motivate you to just throw in the towel and give up. Or at least if you're at least willing to increase your activity, increase your actions, and say that you're at least making a strong effort to accomplish your goals, that you're worthy to invest in, those increased actions, that increased activity level is going to increase your failure rate, which means you're going to start learning much faster, which is a good thing. And because you're failing more, you're learning from those failures, you're making the tweaks necessary to improve yourself 1% better, you're leveling yourself up to be prepared for that next version of yourself. And that's a good thing. If you're serious about your goals, then you absolutely must start doing what others will not do to achieve their goals. Success doesn't just happen. It is the result of relentless, proper actions taken over time. Sometimes luck may play a role in it, but anyone who's successfully accomplished anything will tell you that their luck is directly tied to the amount of action they put in. The more actions you take, the better chances that you stumble upon being lucky. Now let's get into chapter 3. Here's the quote that stood out to me the most. Regardless of whatever goals you are trying to attain, success is absolutely critical. In order to have success and keep it, here are a few things to keep in mind. 1, success must be important to you. 2, you must see success as a duty, something that you must accomplish. And 3, you must understand that there's absolutely no shortage of success for you or for anyone else. Think of success in terms of expansion. Expanding your capabilities, expanding your potential, expanding your reach, expanding your value, expanding the amount of lives you touch, expanding your community, expanding your confidence. It's important that each and every single one of us focus on expansion, because this is what creates a purpose for your life. Without continual growth, then why exist? You must never reduce success in your mind or in a conversation to not being important. Success is absolutely vital, and you must always think this. And if anyone minimizes the importance of your success, of your future, just know and understand that they've already given up on their goals, on their future, on their potential. And now they've switched over to using their time to convince others that they should also give up on their dreams. Success is so important to a person's sense of self. It promotes confidence and a sense of self-worth. Imagine how many lives you'll touch if, just maybe, you accomplish your goals. That is something worth fighting for. Now let's get into chapter 4. Here's the quote that stood out to me the most. I guarantee you that when you, your family, and your company begin to consider success to be a responsibility and an ethical issue, then everything else will immediately start to shift. Success is key to having a full life, to feeling fulfilled, to feel that you have a purpose of existing, to feel that you have a reason for living. So the continual pursuit of success should be approached not as a choice, but as a must. Treating success as an option is one of the major reasons why people live with regrets of the things that they did not do, the things that they wish that they had done. If you don't consider it your duty to live up to your potential, then you won't. If your potential doesn't become an ethical issue for you, then you won't feel obligated and driven to fulfill your potential. Again, don't fall into the trap of making excuses for yourself or letting others tell you what you can and cannot do. You set the bar on your own potential. You absolutely must approach success in the way that parents see it as their duty to make sure their children grow up to be successful adults. If you are able to repeatedly attain success, then it becomes less of a success and more of a habit. So keep in mind, successful people see success as a duty, as an obligation, as a responsibility, and even a right that, yes, I'm grateful that I get to create success for myself. And I see it as a responsibility that I want. Success is definitely a daily pursuit. There's no such thing as an overnight success. When you stumble upon anyone who has a huge following and looks to be successful, then chances are you're seeing them at their chapter 20, for example. Yet they've already accomplished chapters 1 through 19. They've taken all those action steps that you just haven't seen yet. You haven't seen the amount of action it took to reach that point for which you are finally aware of that person. See to it that it is your responsibility to do your personal best every single day. And if you fail to do so, see it as a violation of your ethics. Success absolutely must be approached from an ethical viewpoint if you're going to accomplish the goals that you want to accomplish and achieve the results that you want to achieve. I hope this has been helpful. It's been a lot of fun. I'll be covering other future chapters of the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone in other future videos, so make sure to look out for those when those come out, and I'll see you in the next video.